Yeah. I don't matter what you're saying. Yo, I just made us see. Yamie, I don't ma another abetuyen. Yet in come. Or say, I should say, and some I desire Buba, no, the alien so no money. At here for Minama Quenya Su, Echa, Obibia, and Adamasi say, and then Su or Do Akumapa. Well, dear, our two of Pia Betua, your business swore. Now, say I can be behind the pass, and you have to say, yes, dear, and I can't we are. Well, Quenya say, most much margin, and sense of the moonshine. And I must see the breed. Say, and then mobile chavin break a cry, I bet he has a makeup before we break a cry. Now, so may I say, good evening, listeners, and thanks once again for receiving us in your homes with your heart's love as we continue in our studies of keys to the kingdom. As usual, it's a great pleasure. We all understand we are studying together. When we have shared our thoughts, you also have the opportunity to share your thoughts, and we also learn something from you. Thank you very much. Indeed, Adjuster, you have set the tone, and I don't know when we're going to finish this conversation. We've talked about Galamsey, and we ended up talking about wisdom, taking the path of dealing with wisdom, and wisdom brings that back into Galamsey. So it's like we are going on a kind of merry-go-round, and we better take the bull by the horn and deal with the issues at stake. Indeed, there's a lot of information available if and only if we will be ready to listen. We came on board and dealt with the matters of the Charter of Redemption relating to the Union government and its content. For more than a year, we were on that subject matter, and people hadn't ever heard before that there was something like that that happened in this country. Indeed, somebody called and said, why don't we go to Parliament and go and talk to the people in Parliament? I just thought, why am I revisiting this topic? Indeed, I'm not revisiting, but I'm back landing on it because of the circumstances we find ourselves. There was what do I call it? There was a session by the Church of Pentecost, I think last year, on the moral, the rules, rules of moral in this country. There was a workshop, a seminar, retreat on that, of which I visited. Unfortunately, on our table, somebody remembered that there was something some time ago about some charter, and that was one of these professors who was trying to recall this. And yes, and I said yes, it actually exists. And I am having to go back to this because I just thought, you remember we were having this session on Galamsey, and I said that if we are going to stop Galamsey, what are we going to be doing about the people who have started this, and to them, they see this now as their source of livelihood? How are we going to deal with them to move away from that place and still survive? With all the good intents, one of the callers called and said we should stop thinking in that way. I mean, I know it's for all the good intents. But why am I visiting that again today? I'm visiting that again today because I have seen a clip which I forwarded to you. These days, there are so many fake things, so it is very difficult to tell whether these things are all true or not. But I am picking it from the premise that it is true. That is where I'm picking it from. If what is before me is true, then it's claiming that our president put two issues on the table regarding Galamsey. And the second part is where we are bringing it back in focus, which says if the people who are doing the Galamsey, the youth who are doing the Galamsey, if you are asking them to stop, then what are they going to live on when there are no jobs or something like that? I don't want to play the clip. But I'm saying that if this is true statement from our president, if it is true, then it takes us back to the statement that I made before, that whilst we are fighting this Galamsey, we should be thinking of what the people who are involved in this would be doing to survive. All this ends up taking us to what our moral fiber should be. If we should find ourselves in a situation where somebody is engaged in something that is going to, or that is causing harm to us, that is causing harm to society, and trying to stop the person is going to spark, or is likely to spark, another negative activity, then we are getting ourselves into a vicious cycle of negatives. If that be the case, then where are we heading to? That is my point. Where are we heading to? If in an attempt to stop an evil, that evil can only be stopped by providing another evil, where are we heading to? This is why I like to refer us and continue to refer us to what Ascended Masters have come to Ghana to say. They came here in 1972 to 1978, delivered message to Ghana, and for which there was a warning. All this was in the period of General Acheampong's, call it infamous union government. Infamous because people don't want to hear about it. Adjuster, I get worried within my being in monitoring events, activities, words, statements, cries, frustrations from countrymen from the past government through to this state. And I am not speaking about politics here. I'm only trying to lay certain facts bare, and what shakes me within my being, that the warning which the Ascended Masters gave, are we finding ourselves landing in there? Adjuster, in the 70s, when the messengers Mark and Elizabeth Prophet came to Ghana, and they were promoting this idea of union government, and of course that's not why they came. They only came to meet the situation and saw it. They saw the charter, and the divinity they saw in the charter made them want to comment about it. And eventually, the government of General Acheampong invited them officially to come and share their thoughts. And they came and shared their thoughts. Even before that date, the message from the Ascended Masters was that as Ghana goes, so will the rest of the nations. And especially the nations of Africa. So if Ghana should go into the ditch, then we are in trouble. I will read General Acheampong's introduction and preface to his Charter of Redemption again today, for us to just pick some vibes. And he said, somewhere along the line in the booklet, he said that the time that these things will come to effect, he will not be alive. He, General Acheampong, will not be alive. He stated it in the charter. He will not be alive. As Adjuster, at the time when all this message was floating around or being delivered to us, there were opposition. And history has it, it is documented, that at this time, our recent past president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was part of the leadership who were fighting against the union government era. If you look at it from that perspective, I'm saying there's something going on within my being, and I'm speaking from that perspective. If we should look at it from that perspective, then I want to ask ourselves, if all the cries that we cried and are still crying from previous government era to the current state in which we find ourselves, if they should be true, if, and only if it is valid, true, that people have gone through difficulties, then I'm asking myself, and I'm telling myself, and I wish to use this opportunity to advise all of us that my cry has been that if we have gone to a certain state which is seen as low, I'm saying what has been put out perceptively. I haven't gone in to take any statistics, but I'm picking empirical data from what I hear and so on, and airwaves and so forth. If what has gone on in the past regime is claimed to be bad, for which someone will describe the country as a playground of corruption or whatever it is, I am saying that that era, the leader of that era was part of the opposition team or group leadership at the time of the 70s when the masters were giving a warning. Then I'm asking myself, if again it is true that things were bad, then I am saying that if the warning of the Ancient of Days to Ghana is anything to go by, then we better be careful that the present regime does not also lead us down. Otherwise, we will land in a state that we can't recover. I am hoping I am explaining myself. Yeah. So if we are claiming if the statements that were made, this is where I'm building my point. If the statements that were made that we are all hearing, even to the point where people of the same government, the same party will come and say, if our party wins again, Ghana will be in trouble. If it is true, then I'm saying that we better watch the warning that the masters gave in the 70s. And we should reverse the spiral before it is too late. And this spiral can only be reversed when there is something done about our moral fabric. I'm just experiencing the fear within my being. And it is not today that I started feeling this. And somebody needs to know that a warning was given forth. And that if we don't change from our greed, our selfishness, our love of money, and get into our unity, we will not like what we'll see happening in Ghana. And the message has gone for that as Ghana goes, so the rest of the nations. What we want to happen. If we find, or we should find ourselves in a situation where the solution of a problem like Galamsey, Adjuster, you and I were on this program talking about Galamsey and its effects when we tried to invite a medical professional to come and talk, and the person later on declined because he's afraid if he comes to speak on the things that have been found to be happening, it might cost him. So that appointment got off. Are we heading towards good or towards bad? Let's put the card bare on the table and look at this problem and deal with it. As I was reflecting on this subject and coming to the studio, the question that popped in my mind is, what is the difference between a warning and a prophecy? And I went online to find difference between warning and prophecy, and it gives the indication that yes, the two can be used interchangeably, but in reality, if you are talking about prophecy can be a warning. But when you are talking about a prophecy, you are mainly talking about a prediction. But when you focus your attention on warning, then warning is based on the fact that the person has made a certain observation and is making an emphatic statement to you that if you do not change based on what he has seen you do, if you do not change, then so and so is going to be following. The person has seen it. You are doing this. And it says, stop what you are doing. Otherwise, it is going to cost you. In that perspective, therefore, I want to, in this context, say that for our discussion for today, a warning is more serious and more specific contextually than prophecy. The warning has been emphatic. I have seen you in greed. I have seen you in love for money. I have seen you in selfishness. If you don't stop, the watchers will find your weak point and prey upon you and take away your goodies. And how are they taking away our goodies? It is the minerals in the ground that they are after, that they are taking. When? Oh, when shall we wake up? So, people may not like what General Champon has put in the Charter of Redemption, but he has said that all that he said or tried to pursue, the effects will be manifest after he is dead and gone. He is no more with us. But yet, we are talking, or we must talk about these things. How are we going to deal with a situation before us in such a manner that will not create another crisis, and then go and solve that crisis with another crisis? So we will only be worrying around in crisis left and right. That is my cry. We have gotten to a point where we as a nation must decide and agree that we've got to turn things around. I will read the content, that is the introduction and the preface once again of the Charter of Redemption, because for me, I don't see what moral fabric we can get other than what has been stated in this charter. Go around, go up and down, you will come back to it. It says, and I'm reading from the Charter of our National Redemption that was written by General Champon and his team in the 1972. We've dealt with this before, and I will take that up for us to read a few lines. Our revolution, launched on January 13, 1972, has a clear and compelling purpose. Ghana must be reborn, revitalized, redeemed. Ghana must be filled with new hope and set firmly once again on a road to her God-given destiny. 15 years ago, we were the torchbearers of the African Revolution. We Ghanaians helped to speed up the march towards political freedom in the rest of Africa. Of late, it has seemed as though we had lost our way and fallen behind. We have yet to take the basic steps needed to free our minds from the effects of our colonial past. The time has come for us to stop trying to be second-rate Europeans. Our historic mission is to become first-rate Africans. This is a result that can and must be achieved by our revolution. For ours is a revolution that must lead to the discovery of our capacity for self-reliance, fruitful cooperation, and purposeful self-development. Many so-called revolutions have been more near 9-day wonders. Military interventions can be justified only if it opens the way to a genuine revolution that brings real benefits to the people, giving a new sense of meaning and purpose to their lives. Experience shows that the few successful revolutions were achieved by men of purpose and vision who captured the imaginations of their peoples with organizing ideas to guide their actions and help bring about fundamental changes in their lives. Ours is a revolution that must achieve the permanent transformation of our nation. It must go far beyond mere slogans. The vision of a Ghana united and transformed, resourceful and self-reliant, successfully coping with the challenges that confront her is one that must inspire our every nation. It calls on us to organize and marshal all our resources of spirit, mind, and muscles to make the necessary sacrifices in self-discipline and total effort, and to reach out with God's help to the success that is surely ours. I am confident that every Ghanaian patriot will respond to the challenges and inspiration of the ideas which we present in this charter of our revolution. I see the emergence of a new generation of Ghanaians who are ready and eager to face the problems of our society and to solve them. This is the kind of Ghanaian whom I have called the January 13 man. As I said in an address in February 1972, it is our aim to attack the foundation of our society to remove the factors militating against our rapid and orderly development, and to create conditions for the emergence of a new man, what I call the January 13 man, in our society. We have embarked on a revolution in our culture and values, a revolution in our concepts of the good life, a revolution in the transformation of our economy. This charter restates for all of us the elements of that message. It is a deliberately brief statement of the principles and goals that must guide our action so that everybody may absorb its message. Achieving these goals will indeed amount to a genuine revolution. The tasks ahead are formidable, but so is the Ghanaian heart. I have faith, boundless faith, that the formidable Ghanaian heart will meet these challenges and triumph. Colonel I.K. Achampong, Head of State and Chairman of the National Redemption Council. Now, the preface of the charter says, "There comes a time in the history of every nation when adversity can be turned to the advantage of the nation. Such a time has come in our history. Several years of economic mismanagement and maladministration, corruption and nepotism, social injustice and exploitation, disappointment and frustration have shattered the dreams and expectations of Ghanaians. There is now a nationwide yearning for change. Change from ethnic narrowness, selfishness, and prejudice, from jealousies, recriminations, and vindictiveness, from pinning our hopes on foreign aid, and from hunting for scapegoats to explain our national failures. Now is the time for genuine self-examination and purposeful redemption, for radical action to unite our nation and to transform our social and economic attitudes and relations. Above all, now is the time for relying on ourselves under God for the development of our nation and its resources. A man or nation without vision is lost. Every nation needs a dynamic vision, an absorbing purpose to release spiritual, mental, and physical energies for achieving its goals. Ours is a vision of Ghana united, transformed, and up-to-date, confident in God's protection, resourcefulness, self-reliant, and triumphantly responding to the challenges that confront her. Our historic task is to will this vision into reality, for it is an established fact that it is always the will to do something that decides the career of individuals and of nations. One has to encounter great trials and difficulties before one attains success. Success is not the monopoly of one man or nation. An essential element in the effort towards achievement of moral and spiritual excellence is the certainty that however low a person may have fallen, it is always possible for him to arise. Our aim, the National Redemption Council aims at a complete and systematic transformation of our peoples into a self-reliant nation, unique in its economic, social, cultural, political, technological, and all-round development, a united, modern nation with a spirit of its own. To this end, every necessary step must be taken to create a just society based on respect for the dignity of man, equal opportunities for all, equitable distribution of our resources, a society in which Ghanaians are the masters and beneficiaries of the wealth of the nation, and in which the free and full development of each is a condition for the free and full development of all. For this purpose, we must have confidence in our ability to manage our own affairs. We must have pride in our African heritage and a firm conviction that our destiny lies in our own hands. We are engaged in a mighty struggle. Difficult day lies ahead. The journey will be long and hard. Many obstacles and difficulties lie along our road, and there are many of us who may not live to see the new society emerge. But with the active involvement of all Ghanaians and the support of the whole nation, we shall overcome all obstacles and all difficulties. As a nation, we must move like one united army, engaged in a war to redeem our nation and ourselves. We must submit to the necessary discipline and learn the necessary lessons. However arduous the struggle may be, and however great our difficulties, we shall not flinch. We shall not retreat. We shall be prepared to die for our nation rather than let it fail. In this way, we can surely redeem our nation and ourselves, remembering all along that with God, all things are possible. God be with us all. This is the intro and the preamble and the aim of the Charter of Redemption 1972. And like I said, it says some of them will not live to come and see the emergence of that good society. But if we should follow this, we'll have our head above the waters. It is good to read this out these days for those who have not heard it before, to know that something came across our way before. And these, the Ascended Masters have encouraged it and have told us that this, our destiny, which is mentioned in here, our destiny as Ghanaians, our destiny as Africa, is what we have come to call union government, which, according to the Ascended Masters, the inner name really, the spiritual name for this union government, is the community of the Holy Spirit. A community in which there is love for one another, because the Holy Spirit is the fire of love. That is what we are supposed to establish. That is our destiny. So we need to pursue that destiny. Love should prevail in everything we do. But if we are going to go along this line of selfishness and greed and love for money, and now we are hearing about gold fever that has happened on Mercury, we will chase gold with our negative minds and qualify God's energy with the negativity within us, then we are going to be amplifying the negatives around us. There's a lot to talk about and a lot to share or to listen to from our listeners on what I have read. And therefore, I want to make this quite snappy. For the American, just said, Yabeka Union government wants them, and I can chat out redemption. I can't want some more. And then the echo soup. Me see, me home video be say a new crow, say a new crow, saying, who are the I see fake news in Kikan. Name say a new cray, dear. Nana just say, your man penny, can say, or the idea me to a prono so say and share. Now, back the second one, I'm here, the monks, I say, or see, one hour amuye galam say no amunjaya. Ejuman susu ni hoi, omubeye den, ena omo edidi. Ena meka say, meka sa sem emrebe twem, nanso sa breno. Enti ase anye juma na minim say, nepa oka say yen twaso no, wanka no bonim. Na sa akoba ne say enne, ye man peninsu kan sa sem no krona. The minister bisane say aso yedi boni beso boniano yedi boniye beso boniye bisu ano say we nye we susu nye nti nemo baye we ena meka say the akosu woye mem aba atwem eni abei the etu the asana masters aka Africana ho in the 1970s. Mimiti hona mi kan ade no mi hwem na mi hwede ekoso wo ye mem a se ne ye keka mi titi eye no krea se ye si de ekoso bo amambo a etwemu ene de ansa na we ba no se de ekoso wo na se ne ye keka se ne ma nko yi a se no krea na mi ka se ye nyanti ase abakosem a ya tra to ho se sa brena asene masters ba Ghana mo tu yefu eno sa breno na yesi nkemu aban ebenum agina mu se nkemu aban de ye nkotie sa breno ye mampeni excellency na Nana Akufo-Addo ya tra to ho history se na onu nso ka ona omukuntia sa union government breno omukutia no yewo nipa dodo na omu ekutia no na meka se sendie ye kan ye titi yeti de ye hu yedi si hu no se si nema anko yie ewo mre atwemu ansana aban ba se sana ye kan enie na mididie mehu ni aye kika edi to ni asene masters abeka in the 1970s adia omoma ye woni won senyanya ahweye wo hu no mini ni nyina etutu epro no so ena me se eye onu akwan ena yafa ena pesimikumya ena di sikani branding nkika ho agi abroso na se eye nunti ena oman no ehwe fom anahwe ase kodu pempen so aye ka se sa na tie a me sa ase so se sa na ye pa che dia na me ka se na ne e course no enye fe se sa na tie dia enye fe na ense se aban foforo ba onu nsusu ojeja ni mamu na yesa kofam biom because onu nsusu ema ye kofam na yesa hwe ase wo ya hwehwe mu a ene na eche se ye da fam dada ena afa de ye tia yesu e de ahye amranum me soria enye yie enti oho no ena mi de mi wo mi dem a mi pai bo ani se said dear kosu ye keka ne nyina ye nokure a ene ma me empire ne say aban fufura aba no onhwe na onso niema no na bebia yakodu a nipa ne ka say anko yie no yem piemfri ho na say wanhwe no na say ne ahoba say I galam say the other midi yem fatu keke say galam say kosu na say ye koso anu ye kosi anu na say anu nti embembo no enye sika endidi a na ye kohe ma this idea a midi to ye nyina ye nim ene say General Champon of 1972 o kan charter resolution wansem no ni nyina ko gina say senia yedi boy bra yesu ene ye ban a yedi wo man mu onu ene asem a wo kai ena oni nyina mu no se pe na asemo se yempe na asemo ne wo kai ni se nsem a wa kan se wo ye Ghana mamba padia ene so se uhwe na ye sakra ye nyina ye sakra ye adwen ye sakra ye ni ye na ewom se omo a omuku sa okun no se oman enye yie no bra wenum nyina ebebem no na omo no na omo nti abirim nti ase enemre aye kasa General Champon oni ho se charter redemption no wo kan ya mi pese wo de fa charter no ne kan adsema ya tro wom a wo feel se eye body no kan na pie na yi tren dia one day was say abuse line no wo kan charter redemption na ka kire ya ade ya kire charter redemption no a eye ade body na ka kire ye etiefo mi di besi ha efi say minim say o say meja mre na mususu menya mo na mo kire mo adwen dia media ba enenie ye beautiful lines no na wa frɛ na wa kire wa adwen na ebe say ma won kwan so line no na obi nso onya 1 minute be no fan share na dream ajasa you be beautiful lines no
School ni de nim plant planets ahodo mercury so a yese ho say ya ho uye bibi wo ho enye yie no eno na yenso asase wa asase so a sisi abia galamsey course e wo Ghana high see ya me ni wo kase e be den se de bibi ko si ho no e be yie insu nyina sese nti anamo be ne yitu a yen nipa ya sitenen bebia yete ye ya wa hampo de meka se eye kaka bo mo nso wo eho no mankasa no nso unya sutrin no mbiom ensu mu nam unya ho biom gise wo befu ka tententi aba ka ansa ba beto na ma na se gise akraf na ne ba ho because ensu na aye tan e wo ho no no ope remnam so a remnam no ono so num sa ensu ni bi ono so yare ni woni mu enti ne enuanum bi o mo ho no mu se ebi eni fra ebi nso wo disables ni ade ye be de ne ya solve. Hello Ojina so hello. Oh yeah odin de say na frefin
me Nicholas is very I'm from.
Okay, yet you.
the program no man tia tia na so asamba kwa me tia me so me pese me contribution is Ghana be ya gina me any wo so anka na be ya me pese me nka afa se we nyina no se
Pink FM 96.9
the assembly 2 and I say the shade 2 pronunciation or money you say sir the shade the boy I say na you support it and I say na move go against the panic it's like you be the chairman on ban in go they say yeah I DNA go I say anymore the chairman on me a survival with the mercy and the map
also yada sepa 0240358182 028182 oh my way okay menyani say 0240358182 so with me afre hello good evening Otemenka Udin say no free. Ma radio nim call for ne ente o kasa ni ye. Oh. Yeah, I was saying. I did we have you. Hello.
Hello, more line.
Yes, you.
Mamu, I can't tire. I don't know what you can do.
Get on, Kappa. But radio no was through. Radio no was through.
Hello?
Yeah, it's you.
Mamu, I can't assembly fire. You can say a tree at some point for hello, I didn't know the thing for Omamba.
FM 96.9
Over. Since I dear any say, Nepanu be a Juman ewo hono mokra eyo. But obi ono akọ gala ebi e de onya 10,000. Esika ben no the mana ebeso nani.
Sana woka.
Sana mekano, sana tie.
Sana mekane. So that one should have risk involved. When risk less risk now. I think all the things like that. I can't be confident with that. I'm yes, can be. Yes, we are the way yes, can be. I'm yes, can be. That's I'm calling my mind. And it's very one now. Yeah, it's not that they investment. That's one that all is watching move. What may have been from Sutherland, no, quite no, say more than. And I just walk on accountable.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. And easy. 0240358182 0240358182 0240358182 Higher Pink 96 Ponan FM. Reverend Lambert in Tibri from Church Universal and Triumphant. Yeah, for we were honey and twas. Hello. Hello. Yeah, Amingo. You too.
Oh. Majiba for BSM or BSC. Matter was. Now, Dana, you could pressure yourself. I buy off your window. Of the desert. Or the desert. You see, or not, that's it. Number 5 for that. Hey, I pass home. Get 6 lots at the Pagani. I got that. All those who are not away. Now, we can come with some more. Yeah, quite so. Gentlemen, Dama River, Abaddon. Also, forget the city. I can. Why that turn I want to know? Bronco to go. Kabuchi. I'm not ready. Quiet and them. I'm not very training also for 5 years ago. Let's see, one cock, Mitty, Martin. One bit of that, Chapter Hawaii, for so, or when you are now, Chester, and no Japaco. Then get the autos in Paris one far. My record of the king. Or Bill Basia, African there. Amigo, Mr. Data.
FM 96.9.
Papa Davino. It's a bit of 2 more. You bet you die, Benjamin. Now, Papa and the beer. What a change and a quasar net, quasar. If I don't was no way. Now, last week, what have we been? Let you not one, you saw no same, the dinner jack also. Quasar, and chatted, move to me, my master. 15 to host. You Jimmy Papa. Jimmy Papa, whether not go up and not go down. But Sabasido. Not yet, this is my command to Genesis in the sparkle. If I know, Yaki there. Sesiano, Saba, or 2, Sejafo. That woman got no one there will be there by the. Okay. When you're breathing, if it's said what was the same?
Oh, and the lines in it, Charlie. Hi. Yeah, for last call and the uncle 0240358182 0240358182. Now the air cover high in penny for the suit. Into a quite on Befaswa on Besovi. Quite on Befaswa. What's all problem now, mine? Yes, sir. Yes, yes, you're Buana, yes, I'm 0240358182 0240358182. If you ever say, be a me walk cry and family home share a canker a buppety mean canada down. A wapiti. You soon almost send what top when you know, a bapum, a back cra, have a 12 hour cra 0240358182. Obi Frebo Frana Cat, minimum dinter 0240358182 0240358182.
Hello.
Yes, I need to send off refrain.
I'm from
okay, brass, I'm here too.
I cannot. It's really there, and I can't do it. Guarantee in such name, I could be there. Last week, I take care of I'm about my back. Sometimes you could go on my, it's maybe in one of components, it's maybe in your one of the panic. One Kumbushana, I'm full of one. A back of Parkway. The best thing is you want to make them provide it.
FM 96.9.
And I will catch it. Then if I know what I need doing 1,000, and then around 6 again on our side, you'll have to do 1,000. 10,000. Who knows that 10,000? Then they do the you know, and now in this package, almost underground. And then that's how, but other than that, you know, they do normal thing. It's more on money for non take direction, so or Kubus and other corporate marketing. So all that.
Okay. Is banner say Ebia, you say a hanumu, Ebia Pristia, Bogoso, near the idea, you say honomu, a honomu, good or oh, your terminaso. na ke akọ be mining company wo ho ni ya form no mine illegal ana Reverend Yanko yatamina so
yo medasi I'm say the can nyina ni say asam no eyadin na enyano so eyadin yentimi ye galamse enka say comedy yenti ye kwako ye galamse na yentimi ye galamse na say mampeni kan say ye galamse a ye gold export to ebeti enyo no ntun so sini ye say ye mai afere den na ye be ye ma ena nyansa ehia ewo ya na motuom etifo say ye mre no ayebe enti aha ena mre baba ye de si ende nyame adoma dasene ebe shabium na ya tuaye enkomo so obia enyiri ne ho na onfa odo ema Ghana mai my number is 020 812 5078 020 812 5078 Church Universal and Triumphant yasia ewo Adenta SDA Junction yebe mamedo kunu wa school mo wa dasene ebe shabium remasi pebre